So thank you for being here today, and thank you for looking on the web and watching us live streaming being here today. My name is Isis Phoenix. I identify as a sensual shaman. Many of you, though, probably know me from Naked Yoga NYC. I was the founder of the nude yoga movement that's taken the world by storm. And part of that movement was an extension of my own shamanic practice. So I like to look back to the most erotic moments that I've had in my life, where I really felt that my life force was totally activated, totally embodied, and completely authentic in being connected to not only myself, but to what I consider to be source, or the spirit that moves all things. So many of those experiences began when I was a child, and there was a creek that I would go visit where there was a lot of running water, and I would create these beautiful stone bridges, and I would take my shoes off, and I would feel the moss between my feet and the wind on my face, and I would literally just be transported into these states of ecstasy, and I would go into these just expanded meditative states where I could just literally see that individual energy that is all energy move through everything in existence. So part of what makes us unique human beings being in New York City is that we have a lot of fire energy that's always existing in our bodies. So in New York, we're going and we're moving, and then we have electronic energy that's come in as well, that's bumped us up to here, where we spend a lot of our time. I'm going to get on my iPhone, I'm going to tweet what's going on at the Roundup, this is great, I'm going to get on the computer and look here. So part of this experience is being able to focus at a really clear heart chakra specific energy point, and then being able to expand back out of that to encompass our own unique energy and then all energy. So as human beings who are raised in social conditioning, we go through certain learning, certain patterns that develop in our bodies. So they can be refraining from sharing our energy, or putting our energy out here to push people away. And in shamanism, I like to work with a concept of what's called oneness. And I also look to that concept, oneness in right relationship. So a lot of the Tantra teachings, and I definitely jumped on this bandwagon at some point too, was I'm going to treat everyone as if they are the beloved. I'm going to love everybody. This is my mission on earth. And that gets old really fast. So what became really important in that concept was loving everything and connecting in everything in what I consider to be right relationship. So the person who gives you your coffee, you're not necessarily going to deep mouth French kiss them. Maybe you have that exhibitionist side in you, or maybe there's a previous agreement, but for most of us that's not going to happen. And for most of us that would be a sense of stealing energy or abuse for power. So then that energy becomes a projection. Oh, I'm treating everyone as the beloved. I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and that's going to freak some people out. So right relationship starts with the self and the self container. So we moved from here to here to here, and then can move beyond to expand even out that. So we work with just Midtown, because even that's a lot to take in right now. That's a lot for our senses to comprehend before just shutting down completely. So I'm going to take just a moment to take us on a guided meditation to go into a place where we're in right relationship. So close your eyes for a minute, and we're going to hold the intention with our attention to connect with the nature of our body. So hold the intention to connect with your own unique body spirit and its vibration. The body is the form of nature with which your soul is contained. This is the container, the vessel, the temple that you've chosen in this lifetime. You can choose with your own free will how to use this, how to share this, how to move this through your life. We're going to call on the macrocosm energy now, which is nature, the force that moves all things, as well as our inner microcosm energy, the temple of our body. And the thing about nature is it doesn't have free will, so it responds to our thoughts. Nature is always running in divine alignment. So we're just going to open our intention and we're going to make a request of nature, both the nature inside our body and the nature outside of our body. And we're going to ask nature to organize, balance, and align our body in whatever way is in the greatest good at this time. Whatever way is for our highest purpose at this time. And just simply making that request, see if anything shifts or changes. Take an inhale and an exhale, and then we're going to shift again. We're going to ask nature to put us in right relationship on the earthly plane. So that right relationship is a right balanced relationship. It's a relationship inside of ourselves, and it's with our community, our ecosystem, and our planet, balanced both in us and around us. That felt really good. And then in that right relationship, go to a place that feels like it's your one spot or your one point. A place where you feel the most available connection to source at this moment in your body. And then in that place, see a beautiful glowing light. And let that light extend out to all of your chosen beloveds, your innermost circle of people who you consider your ecosystem of support. And then extend that out to include who you feel your secondary ecosystem of support is. The ones who you may not call an emergency, but perhaps who you have collaborations with, and extend that out. And then go beyond there to extend out perhaps acquaintances, people you've met perhaps once, people who you've yet to meet, and then every person in existence. Slowly recollect your energy in your body, keeping as much of that expansion as feels useful to you in this moment. And then slowly come back into the space. One deep inhale, one rich full exhale. Good, I just want to do a check-in. How was that? Did anyone find that? Okay, thumbs up, yeah. We're in pre-verbal right now. Good, so that is the ecosystem of support in right relationship, of where our love can fuel ourselves, our beloveds, our community, and expand out in a balanced relationship. So I'd like to just weave back in for a second to talk about the spirit that moves all things and to also inform lovemaking. So I spoke for just a moment about the brief experiences having in nature, and we'll call this working with elemental orgasmic energy. And when I say orgasmic energy, I literally mean all energy. The energy that has birthed everything. So source's orgasm that has created our universe to the very individuality of, each ant being a different ant. This very unique vibration that's individual in each of us and that is a part of something greater. So I'm going to invite someone to come up and explore this with me for a moment. Armin, do you want to come up here? So this is Armin. He's a sexual shaman as well. And he's also Reverend Goddess Charmaine's son, who is presenting tonight at the Triple Goddess Puja and then later tomorrow. And we've worked in the past and played in the past together, so I felt really comfortable inviting him up here. So, Armin, I'm just going to invite you to ground fully in your feet and tap into the earth and the earth's orgasm. So, Armin and I are going to close our eyes, and we're literally feeling roots move and spiral out of our feet, connect into the earth, and then pull up this perpetual orgasm that the earth is already in. And we're going to run it through our bodies at about, on a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to work with a 5 right now. So drawing that up and feeling that move through our bodies. Right now, you can even see just with the physical eyes, Armin and I are having a very different experience of this energy. So what's unique to each person's body, our individual unique blueprint, is how it experiences that energy and then can transmit that to another person. So we're going to work with a slightly somatic approach right now through a touch meditation. So I'm going to take my earth energy, and Armin, I'm going to welcome you to continue receiving your earth energy, and I'm just going to transmit to you through touch the earth vibration that's moving through my body. And as I'm doing that, Armin's both receiving this energy and also getting a lot of information from my body and how I connect both to my own unique orgasmic energy and Earth's orgasmic energy. And then I'm going to invite Armin to continue connecting with his Earth orgasm, drawing it up through his unique vibration. And then come and let me experience that through a somatic approach, however he desires to transmit that. We're going to take a moment and namaste. Cool, I'm going to ask Armin to come up and stay here for a moment. So the earth energy that I experienced in my body in that moment, both connecting to my earth body orgasm and the earth body orgasm, had a bit of a watery quality to it. So I tend to tap into a lot of the water energy that's in the earth and then go to a very deep grounding place. It's also a little energizing. In Armin's body, what I experienced was this like really woody, almost dry-like quality that has a lot of air in it. It's a little light and timbery. What was your experience of that?
when I felt her energy, it was definitely wavy, definitely moving. Thank you. And it was really swaying. Okay, I felt the flow. I felt the push and pull of her energy, and I definitely went with it. And when I experienced my energy and was flowing it into her energy, I really felt it was a sense of nothingness, actually, but it felt like I was moving it with her and spinning it around and spinning in this nothingness to create something within it. And that was a birth, I believe, an orgasmic energy.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to let you sit down and I might call you back up again for one more thing. Would you take that? So, the elements have this profound way of being able to both inform how we respond to the universe and what our innate balances and imbalances also tend to do. So the more that I work with this energy, the more that I actually understand nature and my position as an earth being in relationship to all things. And it also turns out to be this really fun, unique way to connect with the beloved. So I took this exercise home to my partner and we worked with fire energy. Fire is really quick and it's really passionate. It keeps you on your toes. And what I recognized about my own association with fire energy was it can ignite me like nothing else can. It has that burst of passion where it's just like, roar! And it also can piss me the hell off. Where I get super angry, I could just start to like lash out in violence if I get overstimulated. You're like, back off, what are you doing? What, you want to come here or what? So that's just a variation of how fire energy moves through the body. We just actually witnessed a beautiful demonstration with Janelle and Steve that used a lot of fire energy through quick, sporadic striking on the body. That elicited a jolt of Kundalini energy. So that happened to work really well for her system, and I know that in my system, that doesn't work so well unless it has a very specific circumstance for which it is able to be supported. So what I've understood with my own fire energy, I took with my beloved, and this also informed how he works with fire energy in his life. I asked him, I said, all right, you're going to transmit to me fire energy. And he goes like this. He goes like this. And I realized, oh my God, he just got finished cooking George Foreman chicken. And he had the Foreman grill in the kitchen, and this is how he was relating to his like caveman fire energy. He was sitting there, and he was doing this, and he's so passionate about cooking this chicken. And he's like, yes, I am cooking the chicken. And then he takes a little break and comes out, and I'm like, just show me fire energy. Oh, that's how he works with fire energy. That's where his passion is. And that just gave me information about how he gets really turned on, too. Here's the camera. Yeah. I know. So we all have a dominant energy and element, even though our body holds all of the elements in general. Air, fire, water, earth, and I'll also say ether, pure spirit, which also can be referred to as space. So in our energy, I'll know, and I don't know that I believe that our astrological sign has that much influence on it, but sometimes it does. My energy is dominantly water and earth. So those are the ones with which I flow the best, and I also go incredibly out of balance with both of those energies too. So in Ayurveda, you could also equate them to a dosha, which actually translates as imbalance. So in my primary relationship, what I looked to balance myself with was I attracted someone who had a lot of fire energy that came at me in a way that was sustainable, and it could also get me out of that rut of being almost like, oh, here I am. I'm going to float along, and then I'm like, oh, wow, fire energy, and fire underneath water. After a perpetual time, it can get up to a bubbling state, or it can die back down, too. So it's exactly what I needed for my own sustainability and longevity in my relationship. So I've also seen people who will stay in an energy that's their dominant energy pattern. And it's what I went back to discussing before. We kind of fall into a rut a little bit, where we have one dominant energy that we stay in, and there's all these other options. So I worked with someone who had a lot of fire energy recently as a client, and we worked with air and the power of air to stoke fire and to also bring it down. So it was quick to ignite because air can fuel a fire, and the absence of it, or just a little bit, could also blow it out. So I was working in the sustainability range of that. We worked a lot with sound meditation about moving up and down the chakras and also phonating into each other's chakras. And there was this beautiful delicacy that came out of that moment where he consistently entered his relationships in, I'm the alpha male, and here's how I have sex, and I'm always responsible for my orgasm, and this is how it's going to be. And he was able to use this beautiful air energy to find this sense of lightness that let his fire go to a place where it was almost inherently feminine in a moment where it came on this sort of like light, airy quality. And he had, in that sense, even though it was subtle, the longest and most powerful orgasm they had ever had, simply by tapping in to a different energy and moving out of this primary dominant pattern. So I see that a lot in self-pleasuring practices too, where we have a way where we get to a specific place. Oh, this is how I self-pleasure. This is how I like my orgasm to be. And it can find into this sort of rote mechanical, it's like, and I'm done. And in that space, when we shake it up and we move with a different elemental energy, there's all of this other information that can come into our own unique ecosystem and then can expand out and inform our place of being in right relationship and enlightened beings on this planet. So I just want to do one thing real quick. I'll define the word shaman. And it has a lot of definitions, and I'm sure some of us have our own. So I have this as an earth-based or indigenous medium for the spirit that moves all things. A bridge between worlds, forms, and source. An individual who holds both oneness and is oneness in right relationship. Now, a sensual shaman acknowledges that our bodies are a microcosmic holy vessel for exploring source and its forms, information, and manifestations. Sensual shaman acknowledges, accesses, and moves the primordial orgasmic creation energy that moves through all things for the highest purpose of all. So I know my time is coming to a very quick finale here. So I just wanted to mention that in this work, we're just working with a base foundation today of starting to activate the animal body and our own individual elemental body as well. But I do work with clients in private sessions, and I also hold group work. I mentor people who are working as tantric professionals or working as sexual surrogates to maintain healthy energies and boundaries in their relationships, both with themselves and with their clients. And I also offer apprenticeship programs. And then once a month on every fourth Sunday, I co-facilitate a holy body interfaith worship service with Reverend Goddess Charmaine. That's been going on for 2 years now, and it's a clothing optional event that we like to refer to as a tantric church service.
Amen.
Thank you. There's more information on my website, sensualshaman.com. But I also just wanted to open up, as I know I have just about 1 minute left, if there were any specific questions that I could answer, if anybody had any feedback that they would like to share. What? Sure. Okay. Cool. It's in Midtown too, on 55th and 6th. Yay. Okay. Oh, sensual, as in the word sensual, and then shaman, SHAMAN.com. It's individual, so it's custom crafted to the individual. What was the time commitment for the apprenticeship? Cool. Yay.